Hey guys, this may or may not be anything of significance, but I just wanted to run it by you. I saw this play this past weekend at the Pasadena Playhouse called The Great Leap. I call it the basketball play, or the Chinese basketball play, and it was pretty well done, pretty cool, like as cinematically as they can do a play, because now they've got those new backdrops and scrims and stuff, and they can just change a set like changing slides. It's pretty cool. And whenever they'd go to shoot a basket, they'd have a sound effect and lighting effects, and it was really, really cool. Anyway, it takes place between, I think, 1971 and 1989. And it's about this 17-year-old kid who feels he has no future other than to play basketball. And he goes and he bugs the coach of San Francisco University. So he goes and he bugs the coach of San Francisco University to allow him to play in the next Beijing game. A kid off the street. He's like only a street basketball player, but he's been practicing his whole life, and he loves it. And so the basketball coach from San Francisco University is really skeptical. And by the way, this is a different cast because I couldn't find a picture of the coach and the kid from the cast of Pasadena Playhouse. And the play is actually directed by B.D. Wong from all kinds of different shows. I think he was like on Law and Order, SVU, and just 80s movies I seem to remember him from. Oh, and he was on the Margaret Cho show too. Now, the coach is played by James Eckhouse, which is pretty funny because when I first saw this, like James Eckhouse, of course, as we all know, was the happy-go-lucky, like almost Ward Cleaver-like father on Beverly Hills 90210, which I only watched the first season of Beverly Hills 90210, but I just watched it and I was like, oh my God, this show is so innocent, particularly compared to Melrose Place. Especially how stupid it got later on. But James Eckhouse, and it was weird too, because at first I thought he was Alan Rachins from, I think it was LA Law. Both bald guys, but I think I need new glasses. That's okay. So James Eckhouse played the coach. He said some of the foulest, most locker roomy things I've ever heard. Then again, I've never been to men's locker room before a game, so I don't know. But so James Eckhouse played the coach, and then Grant Chang, the gentleman you see up there, he played the Chinese coach for Beijing. But starting in 1971, the two men met each other because Grant Chang was James Eckhouse's translator, essentially. And then the games were coached, and Grant Chang became a hot shit coach. So eventually, the kid is allowed to go over there to China. And he ends up getting caught in Tiananmen Square. So he goes and he gets lost and he gets caught up in Tiananmen Square. And as historical fiction would have it, as the plot is worked into the play, he gets the entire crowd to chant USA, USA, because he doesn't know any Chinese. He had a Chinese-speaking mother who's just recently died. She never taught him any Chinese. She never really told him of her past. She always told him to go outside and play basketball. So anyway, because of this, and because he gets lost, and because he didn't hear all the strict rules from the coach, he gets disqualified from the game by the Chinese coach. The Chinese coach, we later find out, well, actually, I'm skipping myself. So, but the American coach is unorthodox, and he puts the kid in the game anyway. And they break all sorts of barriers. The kid gets injured almost to the point of being in having a concussion because he falls on the floor. But he helps. The game is a tie. And then the kid goes to the Chinese coach's house, and he has just figured out that the Chinese coach is actually his dad. And his dad married his mother, and then the mother came to the U.S., and the father wouldn't come to the United States because it was against his rules, or he wasn't able to leave. And the mother, turns out, was like a really hot shit basketball player in China. So eventually the father, he's very stoic. He can't really show love for his son. But he's totally proud for what his son has become. But sad, because he's had to be stoic the whole time. And so the father writes a letter to his son, a paper letter to his son saying, sometimes we can love things from afar, but I can't be with you, my son, and so on and so forth. And it was really fairly sad. And then the father at the end of the play says, "So now I'm going to do what only I can do now," and he picks up a paper bag or a plastic bag and what looks like a briefcase, and he says, "I'm going to go down to Tiananmen Square." And on the backdrop of the entire stage, this is what is shown, and the audience gasps. And the crazy thing was, and I actually grabbed at my friend's sleeve and I was like, oh my God, because I thought a reversal of the Mandela effect had occurred. This is just, when you talk about plot and narrative flow and strength in outcome, for the character in the end to off themselves after a tragedy of having abandoned his son, which the son was resentful for him for, that is the most tragic way that you can end a play. And I think when the audience saw this, they thought that that's what was going to happen, that the tank was going to run over them. And I would almost be curious as to what was going through the writer's mind if she knew that he actually didn't end up getting killed. Because at first I thought, oh my God, was there a reversal in the Mandela effect? I looked at the video thereafter and there wasn't, although he did climb around on the tank more than I remember, and I could swear he was wearing a blue shirt and was chubbier, but it was so haunting because he looked exactly like this image. So I don't know, guys. I mean, I can't tell what was going through the writer's mind or the audience's mind, but it was just really, really arresting, and a part of me feels like it was sort of a Mandela effect within historical fiction, because maybe people just don't know. Maybe people don't know that there was a reversal or a discrepancy in memory. But that's about all. Just let me know what you think, and until next time, peace out.